this is a company that's based in Cliffwood, New Jersey, and you actually make turntables.
That's correct. Turntables for the past 35 years now.
For the past 35 years. Now, just take us back a little bit, because
Sure.
I know that, 35, you can't be 35.
I look really good for my age.
Exactly. Start with a product, sure. HW16, right? Start us there and then walk us through how
Sure.
VPI created this niche in the business.
Well, what happened was my mom and dad were a young couple. My dad was about my age. I'm 27 now, and he wanted a record cleaning machine. He was an audiophile, and the only machine at the time was a $2,000 machine. He couldn't do that, so he met with a reviewer. He showed it to him and everything and stuff, and he ended up making the HW16. And now, 35 years later, we still have the HW16.5 in production. And the funniest thing, when my dad came home from work one day, and my mom said, I've got some good news and bad news. And he was a sheet metal mechanic and an engineer, electrical engineer. My mom was a speech pathologist. He comes home and it's just like, good news and bad news. Yeah, well, what's the good news? He sold one of those little machines. That's great. What's the bad news? You have an order for 50.
An order for 50. Was he prepared for the order?
Not at all.
No.
But they made it happen, and I think they sold 500 in the first month.
Well done.
So
let's just talk about the company currently, because I know that you're doing some expansion. What, we're going from 3,000 square feet to like 7,000
yes.
square feet?
Major increase.
So there's business out there, and this idea that companies in the United States don't make products, don't make things, not true, right?
Oh, in our case, definitely not. We're American-made 100%. All of our assembly's done, and the minor pieces here and there that maybe elsewhere it just doesn't exist in the U.S. And we're working on fixing that actually this year too. So,
what about the costs involved? Because we always talk about comparing costs with making products in the U.S. versus making products in places like China. Have you found that cost is really a significant issue when it comes to the customer of your product?
Well, I mean, there's the issue with the value of the dollar. So our suppliers, of course, they'll increase, and then we have to either, well, find a new supplier or do what we can to try and keep the cost down for the customer still. But so far, we've been pretty good so far. The suppliers will stay with us on it and stuff, and we're always trying to make some money and make a quality turntable.
Give us an idea of what the turntables run. What are they priced at?
Well, they can range anywhere from $2,000 on up. The new table that we made, the VPI Traveler, is actually a $1,300 table. That's where I entered into the company, actually.
Tell me about the Traveler. Why is that so important to the business?
Well, because, again, this was started by my mom, Sheila and Harry, and unfortunately a year ago she passed away from pancreatic cancer. And from there, I was actually a teacher, so don't hit me with too many business questions.
Now you've been drafted in to run the company.
That's right. I came in, and immediately I spoke with my dad. We discussed things, and we wanted to make a statement. My mom was a value-friendly person. She liked to travel, and so we figured, let's do it. Let's make an inexpensive table that the young generation, like myself, can afford. Here, made in America, with American engineering, and just something look cool.
What about employing people? I mean, are you getting the right kind of people to fill the jobs? Because if you're building stuff here, you need people to make the things.
Yes, yes. We have 9 full-time, 10 part-time around employees. We've got about 6 on the floor doing construction. Every so often I get pulled out there too. So and we have about 4 people in the office as well, answering emails, phone calls, and just getting the company rolling. All
right, now I started off by saying that the sales of records up about 36–37% from 2010 to 2011. Do you have a record collection, a vinyl collection? Because you are not old enough to have an original collection.
Well, I have to admit, I kind of mooch off of my dad. I don't need a record collection because he has a great one, so I just take all his records.
All right. I want to